for staying and being part of this. So we're going to go through some pretty interesting topics. And as you can see here, we've got an amazing group of panelists from Ericsson, from Tencent, from Telenor, and from Fujitsu. So like a real different mix. Just as a quick, so we know who our audience is, how many people here are like from startups or have a startup or in startups?
Awesome.
Not that much. Cool.
All right, that's good. Quite a good mix. How many people are from corporates and kind of, part of corporate innovation, etc.? Quite a lot. Perfect. Okay. So it's quite a good mix. Okay. So everybody here, they want to reach out to startups, right? You want to reach out there. And I think pretty much everyone also wants you to either work for them or with them. So today is a pitch to find out who is the most innovative, who's the most interesting to work for. Let's see. I'm going to take a poll afterwards. Right. Okay. So we're going to kick off. And firstly, from an innovation perspective, where do you think, from in terms of working with startups, you're all involved in working with startups. So we'll start down with you, Sarah. Right. Tell us how you work with startups. What's your role to do that now?
Thank you, Frank. So I work for Ericsson, representing the Chief Innovation Office in Asia Pacific. And in my role, I'm actually look for partners, startup community who has an interesting idea, whether it's in technology, whether you have an innovative business model, areas in artificial intelligence. And because you see, in Ericsson, we do not actually sell directly to the consumers. Our business model is really a B to B to C, where we actually work through our customers, which is largely the service providers. So any enterprises or startups that has technology that is relevant, that we can potentially partner together to bring new solutions to consumers, we are definitely interested to have a chat with you to understand what your portfolio is. We have an investment arm as well, based out of Santa Clara, that we will also be interested to see, if we can have a stake in your organization and help you grow your business. And then jointly we go to market and because of Ericsson, we have the global scale. We can also bring it to all our customers globally, as well as in Asia or in any market that you so wish, as part of our partnership. So that's
perfect. Okay, thanks. Haohao, so your job is now global. And is that global business development, global innovation? Do you want to describe?
Yeah, I'm going to say a little bit more about Tencent we start. I said I'm from Tencent. I think many people attend InnoFest are very curious about, wow, Tencent is coming, why Tencent is here. Actually, right now, Tencent is the largest company in Asia in TMT areas. We have the WeChat and we have QQ. And I would like to ask, how many people use WeChat here? Oh, thank you so much. So WeChat right now has 9 billion users all around the globe. So it is not just a product. We said it is a product that's changing the fate for Tencent. We connect by WeChat with the global citizens. And that's why a lot of startups say, do you have the access that we can connect with WeChat? And I say, in our division department, Tencent, we do the things to connect to WeChat and things like the online traffic that Tencent can provide. So I'm going to say a little bit about Tencent We Start. We're not an incubator, and we're not only an accelerator, but we are trying to build the largest startup entrepreneur community in China. So we start out with Tencent We Start after the open strategy that Tencent have. And right now we have 32 incubators all around China, from one floor, and right now it's to a building. And at the end of this year, we're going to have 5 smart cities provide for the Chinese startup community. And for the past 3 years, we built the China community, and this year we start going globally. So I'm very happy to say there are many startups here. So we warmly welcome you if you wanted to have connections with China startup community, and if you wanted to know more about Tencent products, just come to us. Let's provide access and solution for you.
Perfect. All right, over to you, Vegard. Tell us about Telenor.
Yeah, so Telenor is one of the world's major telecom operators, 214 customers worldwide, 90% of them here in Asia. And for us, I think innovation is now becoming core business because we get attacked by all the internet players like Tencent and others. We really have to innovate because, of course, our old core product, which is just data and voice, is declining. So for us, it's going to innovate or die. We have to stay relevant for the customers, come up with new products, work with startups, and of course partners like Tencent and others to kind of stay relevant for the customers.
Wow, short and sweet, very Norwegian, very Scandinavian, direct, to the point. Cristina?
Yeah.
And Fujitsu?
Yeah, Fujitsu, as many of you know, we are a Japanese company. We have there our headquarters. We have more than 100,000 patents in the world, so we are a really innovative company. We invest more than 6 million per day in innovation, so I mean, it's like huge money there. And what is my role, or what do we do? I lead the innovation department for Spain, Portugal, and Latin America, and I also act as a link with our Japanese headquarters. How we work, and then you are going to understand how we enroll startups there. Our mantra is open innovation and co-creation. It means that we work really closely with the market in identifying which are their challenges, which are their problems, what are the market they are going to face in the future, and understanding or exploring that, what we see is how technology can help them. And maybe the technology is not going to be only a Fujitsu technology, because we have some, but maybe it's not like all the customer or the market is needing. So there is the startup that appears. And how it appears? We build like wider solutions that have business value for the customers and for the market, and we explore those startups that have the better technology for that solution. Once we identify it, we enroll it on our cloud, on our enterprise cloud, that is K5, and we put it together on our wider solution, and we help them to scale, and we help them to be offered to the right customers in the right way. So, I mean, it's a real co-creation, it's a real innovation, it's a real open innovation. And startups is like the key. And not even startups, also third-party technologies.
Okay, perfect. All right, so now imagine that all of you are like going back to leaving university or entering the workforce and you're graduating. Who would want to work for a corporate? Who would want to work for a startup? What does everybody else do? What, are you going to stay at university? Like, I mean, seriously, who would, who actually would work for a startup? Like, hands up. Quite a lot. Okay, and then who would decide, no, actually, I'm going to go to a corporate, a big corporate, innovative corporate? Ooh,
So more
a
people
little
want
bit
to take the
less.
risk.
So how are you guys going to attract? How are you? I mean, this is one of the biggest issues, right? If you're a smart grad these days, you probably are going to go and work for a startup. So how do you get the talent to be innovative inside your organizations? And that is a lot down to you guys as well, right?
Absolutely.
To change the culture.
Yes.
Just to share one story there, because we actually get that question quite a lot, right? And a story that I like to tell is our chief medical officer in our health service in Bangladesh. So he is a medical doctor by background, went to Harvard, kind of one of the top guys, right? Top talent in the world. He could probably have gotten to Silicon Valley or Microsoft or Google or whatever. So he was kind of sitting out there figuring out what he was going to do with his life and kind of Googling, like we all do. And he came across this study that Telenor had done on mobile health and how we can, through mobile health, help people with like serious issues in the countryside in Bangladesh. And that actually prompted him to kind of contact Telenor. I really want to do and work on this. So he was part of the funding team of what we call the Tonic service in Bangladesh. It's now been live for a couple of years. I think it has like 3 million users already. And he now has real impact on people's lives. So that's also one of the advantages we have as Big Corp, is that we reach a lot of people. We kind of support great causes. We help people both with kind of their daily problems, but also with the larger issues. So I think that is one of the advantages we have as Big Corps.
So I'm going to go to Sarah next. So how do you get, I mean, what's your, like, is that part of your role, is to try and change the culture internally and get new talent into the organization? Well, I mean...
So that's a very tough question for us, Frank, because if a lot of people know Ericsson, we are a traditional company with a lot of legacy. And I think what the Chief Innovation Office is really trying to do is to provide an environment where individuals can innovate with the comfort that you have a big environment company in the back where you have a salary like a corporate company, but it has a playground for you to innovate. So we accept ideas from all employees globally, and there's actually a team that reviews these ideas. So we want to let people internally and externally know that we care about your ideas. There is actually a team who is passionate about innovation. We are passionate about your ideas. We will really review them and see how we can bring this into our business and create a new revenue stream or a new technology for the company. And that's why our mandate in the Chief Innovation Office is to create and bring new technologies that we can bring to the customers, as well as new and emerging business. If you look at the history of our business, we have always been selling towards the service providers. And there is a lot more push right now to look for new revenue streams, where we are expanding our business to content providers, advertisers, and potentially new areas that we have not traditionally in before. So, and all this is actually driven out from the Chief Innovation Office. So I want to just bring the message, right, to people who think of, innovation is only in startups. That's actually not true. If you look at a lot of companies like Amazon, Google, and even today in Ericsson, what we want to provide is the ability for people with a startup mindset to innovate within the corporate and be successful. And with this comes models where you do, you give them stakes in a company or in their own ideas, so that you actually feel that you own this technology, you own your idea, but you have the platform to bring it to the global market.
Haohao.
Yeah.
Now, China is obviously different because Tencent is, very innovative internally in China. You have a massive accelerator network. Do you have a problem in attracting talent, or do you see that as not an issue and you just want to create an ecosystem around WeChat and Tencent? Or, how does Tencent stay innovative?
Okay, that's a great question. Thank you, Frank. So a lot of people wanted to work in a corp, and some really wanted to work in the startups. Tencent, we started as the only business sector that every day we're dealing with the things that come from startups who are in our incubators, and we also wanted to attract who wanted to come to our incubator and who are interested in our services that we could provide for this entrepreneurship community. So what I think the characteristic of the startup entrepreneurs, they never think they're at the top. They're always chasing, wanting to be the first. They're always on the top of the tide. And they always believe that change is the only thing that will never change. I was so proud of them. Every day I meet them, just 1 year, 2 years, these people start from no name, and one day their company gonna list it on the market. In China, some of the companies, startups, they are doing the business mode innovation for most of the startups. But right now it's changing to the technology innovation. So we can witness a trend that took place in China. And we see the Chinese development economic structures from region to region are changing because of those startups and entrepreneurs and their ideas they cherish in their mind. And speaking of Tencent culture, I still remember the first day. Actually, it's not the first day when I was at Tencent. It was at my interview period. And one of the judges asked me, said, so do you know there is a culture in Tencent? Everyone should be innovative. You should treat yourself as a startup entrepreneur. So Tencent is a little bit different. Everything we start from the staffs. If they have the ideas they propose, and everyone, your leaders, direct leaders, your general manager, gonna discuss with you whether it's right or not. It's really like a startup BP, you know. And even when we recruit our staffs, no matter in China domestically or globally, we very treasure their ideas. And like, if you're on our platform, what kind of things you think you can contribute and innovate on this platform? And how many services that Tencent have you can use? What kind of product that you think you can integrate it? So this is something that I really think Tencent is great. And we keep running too, together with some high-tech companies and conglomerates.
Perfect. Thank you very much,
Thank
Cristina.
you.
So, I mean, we were talking about this beforehand, but Japan now is not known as the hotbed of innovation anymore. But Fujitsu is actually one of the few Japanese companies that is managing to stay very global and quite relevant. It was very interesting how you do that in terms of, you were talking about drawing them out of Japan and getting them out into the field. Like, can you just tell us a little bit of how, how
sure.
Fujitsu does that?
Yeah, let me explain a little bit how is Fujitsu, like the innovation in Fujitsu structure. We have like different capabilities. We have one company that is Fujitsu Research Institute, where we identify the mega trends for the society and also for the customers. So there we have like the thinkers that I like thinking in the future. Then we have Fujitsu Design, that is a design thinking consultancy team that are exploring every day what the customers look like and also how the technology is going to face there. Then we have the labs, that is the research and development centers, that were actually only in Japan, but when they saw that Japan and Fujitsu must be global, what they did was to move them out of Japan, some of them. And now we have Fujitsu labs everywhere in the globe. We have in Americas, we have in Europe, we have in UK, we have in Singapore, and we have also in Japan. And this is also an idea of how to reach the market. And then we have my division that is business innovation, that what we do is to explore what the market is demanding. And what the market is demanding is different from France, Japan, Malaysia, or even Americas. So we feed back to the labs, we feed back to the headquarters for over the world, and what they do is to develop new innovation, new technologies that are going to respond to the different countries. And also having the labs within the countries, having the labs in the regions, what we achieve to do is to have also the deployment there is going to be easier, because the capabilities, the deployment capabilities are closer to the labs, they understand what they are doing, and it's easier to put it in place and to make them real, not only in a lab.
Perfect.
So,
okay, so we're going to talk about something that's very interesting to me, which is implementation of new technologies in the workforce. Is there anyone here who is worried that their jobs may be replaced by artificial intelligence? Mm-hmm. Quite a few. So normally at conference, there's quite a few. Everyone else is just quiet about it. So you're in charge of innovation, right? So you're also in charge of bringing innovation into your companies. How, with the rise of AI in so many different things, so many jobs inside your companies are probably going to get replaced or changed, etc. How do you think that process is going to happen? Like, how do you get involved with that? I mean, do you find that artificial intelligence is like you're told by the management, let's get all the latest technologies in and let's not, just replace the workforce, or what are you going to do? Vegard?
So I think, first of all, it's an amazing opportunity that is there in the evolving technologies. So take AI, artificial intelligence, as an example. We really need to kind of also make our core operations more efficient, and of course, using AI for that, using big data and analytics to kind of make the stupid network smart. It will make the operations more efficient, making it cheaper and more efficient for the customers, of course. But then, as you say, there's also the kind of people dimension to that, right? And while we try to adopt new technologies as fast as possible, we also see the need to kind of reskill part of the workforce that previously, for instance, worked in operations. With new tools like thinking service design, thinking more user research, what do the customers really want, be out there in the market, talk to customers, and help creating the new products that our customers really want. And that will enable us to deliver on the promise of enabling a digital future for all in Asia. I think it's kind of embracing the technology, but also seeing the implication and take that back to the organization and use that for good and new service development.
So now, interesting enough, from an AI perspective, you guys, Tencent is all about data in a large extent. So when you're trying to hire AI talent, how do you do it? Like, how do you find the best talent out there? And, you know, in terms of talented people, like, how do you get them to come to Tencent?
I want to answer in two ways. So AI is something that we really focus. Last year, we invited the MIT CSL director to come to our Tencent Global Partnership Conference. She was talking about the vision of robots. And she said, so robot is everywhere, no matter in the healthcare industries or for calculations or for the service at the restaurant. AI is everywhere. But several years ago, when e-commerce is merging, and many people are worried about, are there many people going to lose their job? Or does the shopping mall may have the little flows of the people? But actually, 10 years later, shopping malls are still there, but they gather more great brands. They just upgrade for more services that we can provide for a group of people, target audiences. It's more focused. So AI is something that I think is going to make some industries upgrade to a certain level. And for those target people, it will be more narrowed. And we can find the products, facilities more specific instead of in a large, big basket, we will search something for hours and find something that we really need. AI is something that really helps, connects, and facilitates. So this year, Tencent we are trying to build an AI open platform and also an IP and content platform. We wanted to use the Tencent AI talents to provide and open some big data in China, because we have WeChat and QQ, a lot of the traffics. We will help some AI calculations, deep learnings, AI applications to join our platform. And then on the other hand, we have a lot of the apps who need AI calculation, AI applications. So there are large and huge audiences there. So we make a lot of things and elements on our platform, and everyone will attract others. So this is what Tencent Open strategy are always doing.
Okay, perfect. Sarah, so when you're like, you know, a hot new company, AI company, or an IoT company very close to Ericsson's heart, how do you get them involved with Sweden, right? With or is it Santa Monica, or like how does the startup get to go anywhere near the R&D teams?
All right, so the first point of contact for these startups will actually to come through to the Chief Innovation Office. And I think actually this year we have done a lot of demos as well around the network AI pit, where we actually feel that how Ericsson views artificial intelligence is really that it's not really a replacement of the people, but it's more intelligent way of replacing mundane tasks, and then these people can then be reallocated for more strategic tasks and roles. So for example, we are looking into developing AI, because Ericsson traditional business is in the network, right, mobile network. So while we are building network artificial intelligence to kind of help our customers leverage AI in how they manage their operations, how we see it is that they will no longer spend a lot of resources to do into the day-to-day tasks, which is very tough for them. But instead, there's a platform for them now to spend time on how they can strategically plan and organize and manage the network. So they have become more intelligent. And having said that, AI is not something that happens immediately. It's not something that you put in. It is a form of machine learning, right? To understand the behavior and also the way the behavior and cognitive learning of the networks. And it takes time for the organization to reach that endpoint on how they can be completely intelligent. And there is always a point of human intervention as well. So regardless of how we talk about artificial intelligence and machine learning, there will always be a critical component where human is required. And we actually look at how AI will help is actually to improve a performance, but not really a replacement of tasks. So for us, for us to attract the startups in artificial intelligence, we do hope that they will come to the Chief Innovation Office, show what they have to us, and then we can also link them up to the real heart and core of R&D for Ericsson.
Perfect, thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Cristina, so from Fujitsu's viewpoint, what are you seeing as the most important sectors that you need to work with, that you're charged from innovation view? Is it cloud? Is it security? Is it data?
Cloud security and data, I would say. Yeah, because I mean, you need the data to innovate and to develop new things. You need to assure the security, because even last year there were more than 46 million security incidents in the world. And of course, cloud is a must.
Yep.
So, I mean, and actually we are working on the three of them.
So if I was to ask the question another way, you know, if a startup approaches you, what do you think, what startups are the most important to Fujitsu at the moment?
For me, it's not the cloud one, because we have a really big cloud. I mean, we give the cloud capability. Everything related to data, it's great. Everything related to sector industry solutions, focus on AI, focus on bots, like everything around the natural language processing, everything around machine learning and so on. It's also really, really important for us, because also we have ours. I mean, we also want to keep an eye on those startups that are developing something really cute and something really robust. And of course, everything around IoT, because if something needs to evolve, is the cities, is the healthcare, and how I see the evolvement of the cities and of the healthcare is with IoT and with the data analytics around that IoT. So all those startups that are working on that, those are like really, really interesting and important for us. So
Okay.
if you are here, please come and see me.
This is why I'm asking the question. So anyone, like, just pop straight up. So Vegard, is it like, for you guys as an operator, is it messaging, dating apps, or is it like, you know, what's exciting for you guys?
Yeah, so I think for us it's a bit twofold. So first of all, we need to kind of continue doing what we do today better. So meaning kind of communication services, adopting new technologies like WebRTC, RCS, having new cool messaging apps, VoIP, do that kind of stuff. So what we already do, just take it one step further. Kind of expanding on that into storage and security, entertainment services, other products that our customers kind of expect from us and want to have on a daily basis. And on the other hand, we also need to kind of try to tap into the new growth verticals that we see a bit adjacent to what we currently do. And that is stuff like online payments, financial services, quite heavily into online classifieds, because we also see the importance of digital distribution, reaching the customer across platforms with more targeted propositions. And that also means that the ad tech, having our own properties, is important. So I think it's twofold, both kind of core communication services and also these adjacent opportunities.
So Haohao, so again, like what startups are most important for Tencent? And then how do you work with Tencent? I mean, are you looking for startups to come to China, or are you looking primarily for startups that help Tencent expand?
There are two angles. So Tencent, this year we start our global strategy. It's a too hard word, right? It's too heavy word. But we have two angles. One is to go global. Because on our platform, we have Qingtong University, which are focusing the top, best quality startup entrepreneurs who is pre-IPO, already on the market. We're gonna have this kind of circle of startup entrepreneurs that is at the top level, it's right like the top of the pyramids. And in our incubator, there are many like in the middle or just become the startups, are very early and seed stage. We have different projects that cultivating this kind of group of startups, entrepreneurs. So actually, Tencent we have 4 layers. The first one is marketing. We have Tencent Global Partnership Conference, which held every year in different tier 1 cities, attract 50,000 developers, startup entrepreneurs, government, and people who invest in the Chinese VCs, and also globally. They're going to join the Tencent Global Partnership. And every year at this occasion, we're going to publish our products, what kind of things that we are moving forward, and we also predict what's going to happen in the TMT areas, no matter in China and globally. And secondly, in the marketing division, we have the Qingtong University, which I've mentioned. We wanted to help and use our best mentors to cultivating them to be a better startup entrepreneurs. And thirdly, we have our first Chinese startup reality show called I'm the Founder. Because for those startups, pre the C round, actually they don't want to invest many money for their entrepreneurs to do their own brand and even for their companies. They have limited budget. So as a platform, we will help them to do so. And another division layer is the investment layer. So we not only the incubator with scatter around China, we also have our own investment department. So what this investment department do is quite different from Tencent MA. MA is most focused on the mature stage companies. But our investment departments focus on the early stage, like pre-A, or seed or angel. So we invest not the money, but we invest the Tencent resources. Like Tencent has Tencent Music, Tencent Media, Tencent News, WeChat, QQ, and Tencent Cybersecurity, Tencent Cloud, and things like that. We just want to use these resources to facilitate those startups to grow faster, like from the under stage into a mature stage. So that is what we were doing. And also the product line layers, we have the AI accelerator and content accelerator, and as well as the online access. It's more like the FB Start and Google Entrepreneurs. We not only provide access to go each incubators and find the policies related to the law, the local policy and the tax, and we also provide some technologies that you can use the API and SDK to use the technology that has already on our platform.
Great. Thank you. Sarah?
Yeah, so...
what startups?
Yeah,
It's a tricky one with Ericsson. I don't really... Yeah, is it IoT? Is it?
No, actually, yeah, I mean, to be honest, it is really very tricky for Ericsson, right? Because we do not have a direct interface, so we are not as exciting as, a consumer brand like, Telenor or Tencent, because we are really innovating more closer to the technology bit, and yet we still have to be relevant to the market, right? How do we innovate our technology for our customers to sell to the consumers? So in this sense, we are starting at the core, meaning that we are looking for startups that are in the mobile technologies, in the core technologies, IP, content, around these areas before we can expand beyond. Because if we go beyond our core business, customers will also find it very hard to work with us because we are still a B2B2C model. So therefore, what we are really seeking is advanced technology in hyperscale, web speed kind of technology that is relevant to the mobile networks, that is relevant to artificial intelligence, security, and all areas in tech. So it's a little bit limited, but we are very excited to meet anyone who has any interesting ideas in this area.
Perfect. Okay, so we're going to wrap up. So we're going to have one last question for you guys. So I want to ask you, what are the top 3 things, technologies or anything or sectors that you're most excited about for the next 5 to 6 years? So me personally, I'm very excited about agricultural tech and artificial food, like fascinated by this. So it can be anything. It doesn't have to be, entirely related to what you guys are thinking. So, or working on. So I'll start with you, Cristina. What do you, you're in the, you're all innovative, so you all see the cool stuff. What do you?
For me, it's absolutely healthcare.
Healthcare.
I mean, yeah, all the innovations around healthcare. I mean, you can help all people to live better. You can save lives of the children. You can work on a surgery from abroad. I mean, everything relating, you have all the biomedicine stuff. I mean, everything related to healthcare, I think is huge. And I think it's one of the fields where innovation and where technology can give more to the society. And you know that the strategy of my company is human-centric society, so nothing more centered on the human than the healthcare. So that is why I think healthcare is one of the hits.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Difficult to beat that, right?
Yeah.
But as a mobile operator, I'll go with 5G.
You're going to have to keep thinking here. Like.
You can say healthcare again.
Healthcare rocks.
No, I was saying as a mobile operator, I have to go with 5G, right? It's going to be much more exciting than healthcare can ever do. No, but to try to answer the question beyond healthcare, I think also virtual reality and kind of brain-connected guidance and controlling of stuff. Kind of being able to kind of go away from the physical dimension, both in terms of what you see and how we control stuff, and kind of the artificial intelligence combined into that is going to be exciting / scary.
Yeah.
So my 10-year-old is currently building a working Dr. Octopus, so mind-controlled robot arms, and he's fascinated by mind control. He wants to control the world. So,
Crazy.
Haohao, what do you?
I totally agree with another panelist and you too, Frank. Healthcare and deep learning, and AI has a lot of imaginations. It can apply into so many things in the areas, and no one can imagine what it's going to be like. And like the mind control, it can be used in cars, even the transportation, and even on a robot. And who knows what it's going to be like. So that's why keep a little bit curiosity. It's always a good thing to stay young.
Yeah.
Wow, great answer. Okay, right now, top those.
Yeah, I mean, they've said everything that I wanted to say. Yeah, so, and because I have a limited area, and plus they've said everything I wanted to say, but we are definitely looking into IoT and 5G. I think we've not mentioned really this, because we think that, for example, like remote control, autonomous driving, virtual surgery, and all this is really going to be the future of our lives. That's, in the next 20, 30 perhaps. And so we are definitely looking in these areas like remote control cars and yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Thank you to our panelists as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Much appreciated. Thank you. Great.
Thank you very much to Frank and his panel there.